Aloha, friends of ethics. I wanted to put together a quick video today for everyone because I'm seeing something a lot recurring in the discussion section. And one of my goals, well, I have two goals. A, to teach you ethics and to make sure that when you walk out of this classroom, you have a tool belt of ideas and concepts that you can apply in the real world. The second one is to help you get that perfect grade that I know many of you guys want to have. And to do that, there are several things that you have to try to employ in your discussion posts. So me and my friend here, hello, we're going to help you get that A today by showing you a few things that you can do with your discussion posts in order to do a little bit better grade-wise. One of the things I want you to do is under here, hit contents, and then the table of contents. We have course resources, and this is a great place because you get to see all the rubrics, discussion rubrics, seminar rubrics, and assignment rubrics. This tells you specifically how I grade and what I'm looking for. But let's look at the discussion rubric really quick. One of the things that are required is that students are asked to make references, frequent references, and informed references to unit materials. And this is really important because what we're being asked to do is to refer back to your textbook and to demonstrate that A, you've read the assigned reading, and B, you know how to understand it and navigate it. So one of the things to do then to make sure that I know that this has happened is for you to use a quote or a paraphrase in your discussion post to support your ideas, saying specifically, telling me where you got that information from. But this is what I'm seeing a lot of. And I'm going to move this real quick. Now this is, in many cases, a really well-written discussion post. I wrote it. But if somebody else had this discussion post, I'd say, yeah, this is some really good content. There's a demonstration here that there's an understanding about consequential reasoning and an understanding about non-consequential reasoning. And in both cases, I give a definition of the idea, and I follow it up with a personal example. All right, so here we have the definition of the idea, and I follow up here with an example. Okay, and then at the end of this discussion post, you'll notice that I have a citation for the textbook. So I might think I've just done everything I need to do, but that would be incorrect. So it's great that you have this ending works cited, but it's not just about the works cited. You technically have to cite every piece of information, at least from a reasonable point of view, that you have paraphrased and or quoted. So if you've paraphrased all the information you have from the textbook, but you don't demonstrate it to me with a good in-text citation, how do I know you got this from the textbook? And then the other issue about that is that this is technically a form of plagiarism. Why? Well, I'm not saying specifically where I got that information from. Even though that there is a works cited citation down here, like a bibliography, I'm not saying specifically where a lot of this information came. And you need to do that for academic writing. So this would be the same post, the exact same post, but just demonstrating that I have read the material, that I specifically took information from a specific place in the book and I've documented it. So the first one would be the definition, right? A definition is not generalized knowledge. A definition of a concept, especially like consequential reasoning, utilitarianism, duty ethics, ethics of care, all of these ideas, they are sophisticated, complicated ideas, so we need to cite where we got the definitions from. So after I've given a definition in my own words, I have here a good works cited citation to follow that, to demonstrate, well, I got it from these two people, and here's the page number I got it from, and if I go down and I see this works cited, I go, okay, the book is called Ethics Theory of Practice. And in this first part of the post, I talk about how my mom was technically an act utilitarian, person because she liked to maximize the good for the most amount of people, even though it didn't always benefit herself. So I got this idea and this definition from this section of the textbook, and so I have cited that section. And then I define specifically act utilitarianism, and I cite where I got that definition. I do the same thing down here for this idea of non-consequential theory. On the one hand, I generally define it here, and that information happens to be found on page 46 of our textbook. On the other hand, I start talking about something called act non-consequentialism, and so I have to say specifically where I got that information, and that comes from page 47. This is going to be a better example of a post, especially an initial discussion post, that's going to earn full points from me. You have taken the time to really demonstrate that you are getting this information specifically from our textbook, that you are defining your ideas and concepts. Everything is spelt correctly, there is good grammar, good punctuation, and you have citations next to each section. I know that this can be a little overwhelming in the sense that you might feel like, well, why do I have to do this? Everybody knows we're using the same textbook, and I get your point. But we need to practice in order to get good at this kind of work. Very quickly, you're going to be writing papers with more than one author, and you're going to need to know how to go about citing that information correctly and demonstrating that you have an expertise over the readings that you have done. This is the first step that you need to take in order to start demonstrating that expertise. If you have any questions or concerns, remember you can always email me, and I appreciate that you took the time to watch this video today. Aloha.